The sun rose over the planet Valeria, painting the sky in shades of gold and purple. The human colony sprawled across the valley like a carefully tended garden, its gleaming towers reflecting the first light. Birds, or creatures that resembled birds, danced in the air, and the scent of fresh metal and energy fields mixed with the faint smell of flowers grown in artificial gardens. Captain Eric Draven stood on the balcony of the royal palace, his sharp eyes scanning the horizon. Clad in his armored uniform, he looked every bit the hero the stories spoke of. Soldiers lined the walls below, preparing for the day's events, but Aric's mind was already several steps ahead. Today, the Interstellar Summit would bring leaders from nearby human colonies and some friendly alien races to Valeria. The summit promised diplomacy, trade agreements, and a chance to strengthen humanity's place in the galaxy. But Aric knew that peace often drew danger like a magnet draws metal. "Captain," a voice called from behind him. Aric turned to see Lieutenant Mara Tolan approaching, her boots clicking sharply against the metal floor. "The princess is ready for the convoy." "Are you ready?" Aric nodded. "I've been ready since the moment they sent me here. Let's make sure she arrives safely." Princess Ilara, the young royal of Valeria, was not just a figurehead. She had been trained in diplomacy and basic defense, but she still relied on Aric to keep her alive. She appeared at the balcony doorway, her silver hair catching the sunlight, her green eyes wide with anticipation and a hint of anxiety. "Good morning, Captain," she said softly. Her voice carried both grace and authority. "I hope today will be peaceful." Aric smiled briefly, a rare softness touching his otherwise stern face. "Peace is always the hope, Your Highness. But hope is never enough on its own. We'll make sure it stays that way." The convoy was ready, vehicles humming softly, energy shields faintly shimmering around their exteriors. Aric took his position at the lead, his hands resting on the controls of his hovercraft. Behind him, Princess Ilara sat with Mara and other guards, the weight of responsibility pressing down on all of them. The journey began smoothly. Birds, or what seemed like birds, flitted past, and the wind carried the scent of alien flowers. The palace slowly receded in the distance as the convoy followed the main highway. But Aric's instincts prickled. He felt it before anyone else did, a presence, subtle but dangerous, lurking beyond the perimeter of the human scanners. "Captain," Mara whispered, her voice tense. "I'm picking up an anomaly on the left flank. Unknown vessels. Fast, stealthy." Aric's eyes narrowed. "They're here." He activated the convoy's defense systems, the shield flaring to life with a bright blue glow. "All units, stay alert. This is no ordinary scouting party." The sky suddenly darkened as shadows streaked across the horizon. Alien ships, sleek and black with glowing red lines, dove toward the convoy. Their speed was unnatural, faster than any human craft could match. Screams and alarms filled the air as the convoy tried to evade the attackers. Aric's heart pounded, but his training took over. He shouted orders, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Mara, cover the princess. I'll handle the lead squad." Hovercrafts darted back and forth like a deadly dance. Energy beams cut through the sky, exploding against shields and sending sparks flying. Aric's craft lunged forward, colliding briefly with an enemy ship before leaping aside, narrowly avoiding a blast that could have torn him apart. The princess looked pale, her hands gripping the sides of her seat. "Captain, what are they?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Aliens," Aric replied simply. "And they want you." A sudden explosion rocked the convoy. One of the energy shields flickered and died, leaving a hovercraft exposed. Aric acted instantly. He accelerated, moving between the princess and the incoming blast. The world seemed to slow as he guided his craft into the path of the attack. The energy beam struck him directly, ripping through the armor and throwing the craft off balance. Aric fought to steady it, his vision blurring, but he stayed focused on the princess's safety. "Go!" he shouted into the comms. "Go! Get her to the safe zone!" Mara's voice cracked with panic. "Captain, no, now!" Aric barked. The convoy surged forward, guided by his precise maneuvers. The princess's hovercraft slipped into a narrow canyon where sensors indicated a safe landing zone. Behind them, Aric turned back to face the attackers, knowing he couldn't outrun them all. The alien ship swarmed him, surrounding him in a deadly formation. Aric's fingers danced over the controls, dodging, weaving, firing, and calculating every move. Every second was a battle for survival. But he had made his choice. He would not let them reach the princess. A massive energy bomb suddenly appeared, launched from one of the alien cruisers. It hung in the sky like a burning star, aimed directly at the convoy. Arik realized the horrifying truth. If it hit, the entire area, including the princess, would be destroyed. Without hesitation, he veered his craft toward the bomb, locking onto it. He would intercept it, even if it meant his death. The explosion erupted around him, shaking the ground and sky with a deafening roar. Bright light engulfed him, and for a moment the world seemed to vanish. When the light dimmed, the princess's hovercraft had safely landed on the other side of the canyon. Mara and the other guards helped her out, their faces pale and trembling. They could see the devastation around them, but Arik was gone. Princess Ilara sank to her knees, her hands covering her face. No, it can't be. He saved me. Her voice broke as tears ran down her cheeks. He died for me. The human soldiers gathered around her, grief heavy in their hearts. They spoke in hushed tones, telling stories of Arik's courage, of the countless times he had saved lives and faced danger without hesitation. He was more than a soldier. He was a hero, the embodiment of human bravery and selflessness. But even as the humans mourned, the stars above shimmered with strange lights. Among them, unseen, a massive ship drifted silently, far larger than any human vessel. Its surface gleamed with alien metal, and on its throne sat a figure watching the battlefield with interest. The alien queen, Zalithra, observed the young man's final moments. His courage, his determination, the way he had acted without thought for his own life, it fascinated her. Humans were fragile, yet they carried an inner strength that even her most powerful warriors lacked. She leaned forward, her eyes glowing faintly. He dies, yet he stands taller than most of my people, she murmured. I will claim him. He will serve as an example, and perhaps as an ally. Somewhere beyond comprehension, Zalithra activated a device that reached into the remains of Arik's consciousness. It was not death that she offered, but transformation, a chance to live in a world unlike any he had ever known, a world of unimaginable power and danger. Back on Valeria, the princess remained kneeling, unaware that her protector's story was far from over. Arik Draven, the man who died to save her, was already being drawn into a universe that would challenge everything he knew. His courage, his honor, and the very essence of what it meant to be human. For now, the valley was quiet again. Smoke rose from the remains of the convoy, and the survivors mourned their captain. But beyond the horizon, the stars shimmered with promise and peril. The story of Arik Draven had only just begun. The stars shimmered like jewels in the endless darkness of space. Among them, the massive ship of the alien queen Zalithra glided silently. Its surface was black and silver, smooth and cold with patterns of glowing light that shifted like liquid metal. Inside the ship was a palace of strange elegance, vast and alien, filled with corridors that seemed to stretch on forever and rooms that defied human understanding. Within this palace, a chamber glowed softly with violet light. Suspended in the center, held in a field of invisible energy, was Captain Arik Draven. Though his body had perished on Valeria, his mind remained intact, his consciousness captured by forces beyond comprehension. Arik awoke with a start. The last moments on Valeria, the explosion, the screams, the princess flashed through his mind like a storm. His body ached in ways he had never felt, though it no longer truly existed. He tried to move, but nothing obeyed his commands. A voice filled the chamber, calm yet commanding. "Welcome, human," it said. The sound was melodic yet sharp, resonating in every corner of the chamber. "Do not be afraid. You are not dead." Not entirely. Arik blinked, taking in his surroundings. The walls shimmered with strange energy. The floor pulsed gently beneath him, and creatures moved silently in the shadows. They were unlike anything he had seen. Tall, elegant, with limbs that bent in ways humans could not imagine, their eyes glowing faintly. Who are you?" Arik asked, his voice hoarse but firm. "Where am I?" "I am Zalithra, Queen of the Solari," the voice replied. A figure appeared before him, regal and radiant. She was taller than any human, her skin smooth and slightly iridescent, her eyes glowing a deep violet. "I am the one who saved your consciousness when your body perished. I found you in your moment of greatest courage, and I have chosen to bring you here." Arik clenched his fists, his mind racing. "Saved me? You mean You captured me. You're one of them. The aliens who attacked Valeria. Zalithra tilted her head slightly, a small smile playing on her lips. I am not like those who attacked your planet. I did not act for war or conquest. I act because I recognize strength, because I admire courage. You, human, have proven yourself exceptional. I wish to see what you can become in my world. Aric's eyes narrowed. My world, you mean I'm not alive anymore? I'm yours now? Not mine in the sense you fear, Zalithra said, her tone patient but firm. You are a warrior, a being of remarkable spirit. Here you will live, though not as you were. You will learn, adapt, and grow. And if you succeed, you will be an ally, perhaps more. Aric's mind raced. He felt a strange pull, a vibration in his essence that he could not explain. His human instincts screamed to resist, to escape, to return to Valeria. Yet there was something else, an opportunity. Here in this alien realm he could survive. He could continue to fight. And perhaps one day he could find a way back. What happens to me if I refuse? He asked cautiously. Zalithra's eyes glowed brighter for a moment, though her expression remained calm. Refusal is complicated. You will not die again, at least not easily, but you will remain trapped, unable to move forward. Your mind is resilient, but it will grow restless. You have survived death, human. Do you wish to waste this chance? Aric swallowed hard. His pride bristled, but his mind knew the truth. Resistance would only delay the inevitable. Survival, adaptation, and learning. These were the weapons of humans. He drew a slow breath and straightened his posture. Fine, he said finally, his voice steady. I'll play your game. But understand this, I am human. I fight with honor. I do not betray my principles. Zalithra inclined her head. I expected no less. That is why I chose you. The next hours, or perhaps days. Time was different here, were overwhelming. Aric was introduced to the palace, its corridors, and its inhabitants. Alien courtiers moved gracefully, communicating with a mixture of vocal tones, gestures, and telepathic signals. The technology of the Solari was unlike anything humans had developed. Machines that obeyed thought. Energy fields that could shift the very shape of a room, and constructs that seemed alive. Aric struggled at first. Every instinct, every habit was shaped by human experience. Walking, speaking, even thinking all felt foreign here. Yet he noticed patterns. He noticed weaknesses in the creature's movements, the predictable flow of the energy currents, the way their machines responded to stimuli. Slowly he began to understand. Zalithra watched him carefully. You are clever, human. Cleverer than most Solari at your age, she observed. Your kind survives because it adapts quickly, because it refuses to accept limits. That is why I am interested in you. Aric looked at her. And what exactly do you want from me? I want you to live, Zalithra replied simply. To become more than you were. To learn to fight, to survive, to understand my people, and perhaps even to lead them in ways you cannot yet imagine. You have potential, human. Do not waste it. The first test came sooner than Aric expected. A training arena opened before him, vast and open, yet filled with obstacles, strange creatures, and holographic enemies. The Solari warriors watched silently as Aric stepped forward, unsure of what to expect. He took a deep breath. I'm human, he muttered to himself. I survive, I fight. That's what I do. The creatures attacked. Agile, fast, and strong. They moved in ways no human had ever seen. Aric dodged, rolled, and countered, using his mind to predict movements, his instincts to anticipate strikes. He fell, stumbled, and was hit more times than he could count, but he adapted. Every move, every blow, every strategy was learned quickly. Zalithra observed with interest. Remarkable, she said. Even my elite warriors would falter against such resilience. Hours passed, or perhaps a day. Time lost meaning. Aric learned to wield alien weapons, to navigate zero-gravity spaces, and to anticipate the motions of creatures far stronger and faster than any human. Yet through every challenge he remained human, not alien. Not changed, but strengthened. Finally, he stood at the center of the arena, breathing heavily, body, or what felt like a body, trembling with exhaustion. The creatures lay scattered or withdrawn, no match for his determination. You have done well, human, Zalithra said, her voice echoing through the chamber. But these trials are only the beginning. Your courage has been tested, your strength measured. Now you must face something far more difficult. Loyalty, trust, and the choices that define a hero. Aric wiped his brow, his mind already turning to the questions that would come next. Could he remain true to himself in this alien world? Could he find a way to return to Valeria and the princess he had sworn to protect? And could he survive the intrigue and politics of a civilization so advanced it could break him with a single mistake? He did not know the answers yet. But one thing was certain. He was alive, and he was not broken. For the first time since the explosion, Arik allowed himself a small, sharp smile. "I survived death," he whispered. "And now I will survive this." Zalithra watched him silently, her glowing eyes thoughtful. "Perhaps this human will teach my people something new," she mused. "Or perhaps he will teach me." Beyond the chamber, the stars continued to shine, indifferent yet beautiful. Somewhere in the galaxy, the Princess of Valeria wondered if her protector had truly been lost. Meanwhile, Arik Draven had begun a new journey, one that would test every ounce of courage, every skill and every principle that made him human. In this alien world, far from the familiar landscapes of Valeria, one truth remained unshaken. Humans could survive. Humans could fight and humans could inspire even among the stars. Arik Draven stood at the entrance of the Solari court, the vast chamber stretching before him like a cathedral of stars. The walls shimmered with a living light, shifting and flowing in patterns that seemed almost alive. Tall alien courtiers observed him silently, their glowing eyes fixed on every movement he made. He felt small, almost fragile in this place, but he reminded himself of what had carried him this far: courage, intelligence, and human determination. Zalithra stood at the far end of the chamber, regal and composed, her gaze steady upon him. "Today, human, you will face the first trial of the court," she said. "It is a test not only of strength but of strategy, insight, and adaptability. Succeed and you will earn the respect of my people. Fail, and you will be trapped here forever questioning your worth." Arik squared his shoulders. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will not fail." The trial began immediately. Energy fields flickered across the floor, forming a shifting maze filled with obstacles. Holographic warriors appeared in every direction, striking with alien weapons that pulsed with power. Arik instinctively ducked and rolled, using what he had learned in the training arena. But this trial was different. He could not simply fight. He had to think, anticipate, and adapt. A holographic blade swung toward him. He leaped to the side, narrowly avoiding the strike. Behind him, the floor shifted, opening a gap that could have sent him plummeting into a pit of shimmering energy. He rolled, landing with his back against a glowing wall. His chest heaved with exertion, but his mind remained sharp. "These challenges are designed to break you," a voice echoed in his mind. It was Zalithra, guiding him without appearing to move. "They test every instinct, every choice. You must be faster, smarter, braver." Arik nodded, focusing. "I can do this," he muttered under his breath. "I survived death once. I can survive this." Holographic enemies advanced in patterns that seemed unpredictable, yet Arik noticed subtle rhythms. Their attacks followed sequences, alternating between force and feint. Using his human intuition, he began to anticipate movements, dodging with precision and countering with attacks he could barely feel but understood instinctively. Minutes, or perhaps hours, passed. Arik moved through the maze, solving the puzzles of the shifting floor, neutralizing holographic attackers and using energy pulses to create paths forward. Each success boosted his confidence, yet the chamber continued to challenge him relentlessly. Finally, he reached a platform at the center of the chamber. A large crystal floated above it, pulsing with light. "Take it," Zalithra's voice said softly. "It is a symbol. Your skill, your mind, and your spirit must align to claim it." Arik extended his hand. The crystal emitted a powerful energy wave, testing his balance, his concentration, and his resolve. He faltered once, nearly losing his footing, but he steadied himself, drawing on every ounce of human determination he possessed. Slowly, carefully, he grasped the crystal. A surge of energy coursed through him, and the chamber stilled. The trial was complete. Zalithra appeared beside him, her expression unreadable. "You have done well, human," she said. "You have shown adaptability, courage, and insight. But the court will not accept you so easily. You must face one more test, the trial of loyalty." Before Arik could ask what that meant, the chamber transformed. Walls rose and shifted, revealing a simulated battlefield. On one side, human soldiers, perfect replicas of his comrades, stood trapped, surrounded by alien warriors. On the other side, Zalithra's advisors, the Solari nobles, demanded that he abandon the humans to win favor in the court. Arik's heart tightened. "This is a trick," he muttered. "A test of my morals." "Yes," Zalithra confirmed, her voice calm but firm. "Your courage is proven. Now your heart will be measured. You may choose glory among my people, or loyalty to your own kind." Auric clenched his fists. His mind flashed back to Valeria, to the princess, to the lives he had sworn to protect. Human lives mattered more than his own safety, more than alien approval. "I choose them," he said firmly, turning to face the holographic humans. "I will not betray them for personal gain." The simulated battlefield shifted violently, the holographic enemies intensifying their attacks. Auric moved swiftly, combining his human combat instincts with strategies he had learned in Zalithra's training. He dodged, countered, and guided the humans to safety, all while navigating the complex terrain. Zalithra observed silently. The chamber pulsed with light as Auric's choices unfolded. Every action, every decision revealed his principles, his loyalty, and his indomitable spirit. Finally, the last holographic soldier reached safety, the simulation dissolving into a calm field of light. "You have passed," Zalithra said, her tone softer than before. "You are not only a warrior but a human worthy of respect. The court will accept you, though many will still doubt your strength. You have shown them something unusual, that courage, loyalty, and ingenuity are not bound by species." Auric exhaled, relief washing over him, but he knew his journey was far from over. "What now?" he asked, his voice steady despite exhaustion. "Now you learn their ways," Zalithra replied. "You observe, understand, and adapt. You will live among the Solari, but you will remain human. That is your greatest strength and your greatest challenge." The days that followed were intense. Auric studied Solari culture, their advanced technologies, and their political systems. He learned to communicate telepathically, to manipulate energy fields, and to move with grace in zero-gravity chambers. Every skill was a new puzzle, every lesson a test of patience and persistence. Despite the difficulty, Auric thrived. Humans were survivors, and he had proven that survival required adaptation, intelligence, and courage. He questioned, he learned, he experimented, and slowly, he earned the respect of alien nobles who had once doubted him. One day, a Solari warrior approached him during practice. "Human, your tactics are unusual," the warrior said. "You do not fight as we do, yet you overcome our strategies." "How?" Auric smiled faintly. "We humans are simple," he replied. "We think fast, act fast, and never give up. And we always fight for something we believe in." The warrior nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps there is truth in that. Your courage is admirable." Meanwhile, Zalithra observed Auric from her throne, a small smile on her face. "He is more than I anticipated," she murmured. "Not just brave, not just strong, but a mind that refuses to be limited. Perhaps humans are worth more than I imagined." Auric, for his part, thought often of Valeria and the princess he had sworn to protect. He did not know if he would ever return, but he understood one thing. His humanity was not a weakness, it was a weapon. His loyalty, courage, and ingenuity gave him power in this alien world, power that could not be measured in strength alone. He stood on the balcony of the palace one evening, looking out at the swirling nebulae beyond the ship. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction, a reminder of both the vastness and the opportunity of the galaxy. Auric's mind was focused, his heart steady. He had survived death, faced alien trials, and remained true to himself, and he would continue to do so. For Auric Draven, the human, the journey was just beginning. The Solari world was vast, dangerous, and full of mysteries, but he would meet every challenge, adapt to every threat, and prove that humanity could rise, even among the stars. The alien queen had claimed him, but she had not broken him. And in his resolve, he carried the spirit of Earth, the courage of Valeria, and the promise that one day he might return to the people he had fought to protect, even in an alien world. Auric knew one truth: humans did not merely survive, they flourished. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the Solari mothership, glittering like frozen fire. Auric Draven stood on the observation deck, his eyes scanning the vast emptiness of space. Despite the beauty of the nebulae and distant planets, he felt tension coiled tightly in his chest. Intelligence reports had arrived hours ago. A rogue alien faction, the Varkari, was moving through the sector, attacking colonies and seeking to exploit weaknesses wherever they found them. Their targets now included the Solari realm itself. Zalithra entered the observation deck, her presence commanding yet calm. "They believe we are unprepared," she said, her violet eyes narrowing. "They do not know the strength of our people, or the human among us." Arik straightened. "They will learn quickly," he said. His voice carried determination, a steady reminder that humans refuse to back down, even when outnumbered or outmatched. Preparations began immediately. Solari warriors mobilized and ships of all sizes moved into defensive formations. Arik worked alongside alien commanders, sharing strategies that combined human tactics with Solari technology. The humans aboard the mothership were few but highly skilled, and their perspective brought a new layer of unpredictability to the Solari defenses. Hours passed in tense anticipation. The Varkari fleet appeared as sudden flashes of red light against the void, faster and more numerous than any human or Solari ship had ever encountered. Energy beams streaked across the darkness and alarms rang throughout the mothership. Arik moved through the command deck, issuing orders with clarity and confidence. "Shield generators synchronize with the fleet's energy grid," he called. "Use the nebula as cover. Force them into narrow paths where we can trap them. Concentrate fire on the lead vessels first. They will panic their fleet if we disable them." Zelithra watched silently. The humans on her ship had always impressed her, but Arik's ability to coordinate alien technology with human tactics exceeded all expectations. She realized more clearly than ever that this human was not merely a survivor. He was a force to be reckoned with. The first wave of Varkari ships entered the battlefield. They were swift and aggressive, their weapons tearing through space with deadly precision. Solari ships engaged, energy beams clashing in bright bursts that lit the darkness. Arik's plan unfolded with precision. The lead Varkari ships were funneled into narrow passages within the nebula, where Solari turrets and human-guided interceptors struck with devastating accuracy. Even as the plan succeeded, the battle grew chaotic. The Varkari adapted quickly, sending swarms of smaller attack craft to flank the Solari fleet. Arik piloted one of the smaller human-led ships, darting through the chaos with precision. His knowledge of enemy patterns combined with quick human reflexes allowed him to take out multiple attackers in succession. Despite the intensity, Arik never faltered. He coordinated with both Solari and human forces, issuing commands, predicting enemy maneuvers, and adjusting tactics in real time. His mind worked like a finely tuned machine, fueled by determination and the desire to protect not only Zelithra's realm, but the honor of humanity itself. The tide of battle shifted when a massive Varkari flagship appeared, larger than anything Arik had seen. Its energy shield shimmered with deadly intensity, and its weapons could destroy multiple ships in a single strike. Panic rippled through the Solari fleet, and even veteran commanders hesitated. Arik's eyes narrowed. "Target the energy nodes," he shouted. "Focus all firepower on the shield generators. Don't scatter, coordinate every shot." He led a small strike team weaving between debris and enemy fire, and guided their weapons with pinpoint accuracy. Each human intuition and Solari energy pulse combined into a deadly rhythm, breaking through the flagship's defenses. Explosions erupted across its hull and the enormous vessel shuddered, its systems failing one by one. Zelithra observed with admiration and pride. "The human strategies are unparalleled," she said softly. "Even my best warriors would struggle to execute such precise maneuvers under fire." Arik's strike succeeded, but the battle was far from over. The Varkari fleet retaliated with renewed ferocity, targeting the Solari mothership directly. Massive energy blasts tore across the hull, shaking the ship and throwing crew members off balance. Fires ignited in sections of the ship, and alarms rang continuously. Arik did not hesitate. He led a boarding team, not to attack but to stabilize critical systems and protect personnel. Moving through the corridors, he directed humans and Solari alike, repairing shields, rerouting energy, and maintaining calm amidst chaos. His courage inspired the crew, giving them hope even when despair threatened to take hold. At the heart of the battle, Arik confronted the Varkari leader. The alien was massive, its armor gleaming, its weapons crackling with energy. It lunged with terrifying speed, forcing Arik to rely on instincts honed through human training and alien techniques he had learned under Zelithra's guidance. He dodged, countered, and used the environment to his advantage. Weaving through control panels and energy conduits, The fight was intense, every move a test of strength, speed, and intelligence. Aric's human ingenuity allowed him to exploit the aliens' overconfidence, setting traps and forcing errors. Finally, with a well-timed maneuver, Aric disabled the Varkari leader's energy core. The alien fell, defeated but alive, its fleet in disarray without a commander. The remaining Varkari ships retreated, and the Solari mothership, though battered, remained intact. The battle was won, but the cost was evident. Fires burned, systems needed repair, and soldiers, human and Solari alike, cared for the wounded. Aric stood on the bridge, his chest heaving, his body exhausted but unbroken. Zalithra approached, her expression both stern and proud. "You have done what few could," she said. "You have not only defended my people but elevated them. They will remember this day, and they will remember you." Aric shook his head. "I didn't do it for recognition," he said. "I did it because it was the right thing to do. That's what humans do. We fight when others cannot, and we protect when others hesitate." Zalithra studied him quietly, a faint smile on her lips. "Your people's courage is extraordinary," she said. "And your heart, even more so. Perhaps humans are not only survivors, they are catalysts for change." The aftermath of the battle was intense but productive. Aric coordinated repairs, trained allied forces, and continued to bridge the gap between human and Solari methods. Slowly, the two races began to work together seamlessly, combining strengths and learning from one another. Aric's mind, even after the battle, remained focused. He thought often of Princess Ilara, of Valeria, and the promise he had made to protect her. Though galaxies and civilizations separated him from his home, he knew that one day he might return, and when that day came, he would be stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever. Zalithra, standing beside him on the observation deck, regarded him thoughtfully. "Perhaps one day," she mused, "this human will teach more than we could imagine. Perhaps he will teach both our peoples to reach heights we never thought possible." Aric looked out at the stars, the nebulae swirling endlessly beyond the ship. He felt a quiet determination settle in his chest. He had faced death, alien worlds, impossible trials, and overwhelming odds, and he had survived. Human courage, ingenuity, and loyalty had carried him through, and he knew, without a doubt, that no matter the enemy, no matter the challenge, humans would continue to rise. Even in the farthest reaches of the galaxy, even in the heart of alien civilizations, humans could fight, humans could adapt, and humans could inspire. The battle had been won, but the war for peace, understanding, and survival was far from over, and Aric Draven, the human, would be at the center of it all, leading not just with strength but with courage, wisdom, and unwavering honor. The stars beyond the Solari mothership glimmered like distant diamonds, casting a soft glow across the polished floors of the alien palace. Aric Draven stood at the observation balcony, his gaze fixed on the endless expanse of space. He had grown stronger, sharper, and wiser in ways he had never imagined. What had begun as survival had become purpose. Zalithra approached silently, her presence commanding yet calm. "The fleet has returned from repairs," she said. "Your guidance has strengthened us in ways I never anticipated. My people are learning to trust not only themselves but also your kind." Aric nodded, his mind briefly drifting to Valeria and Princess Ilara. Though galaxies separated him from his home, he never forgot the promise he had made to protect, to fight, and to inspire. "I only did what any human would," he said quietly. "We fight for others. We survive so that those we care for can live." Zalithra studied him, a thoughtful expression on her face. "Few humans carry such honor. You have not only defended my realm but also taught my people courage, loyalty, and ingenuity. They see you as an example, a bridge between worlds." The days that followed were filled with diplomacy and rebuilding. Aric worked tirelessly, helping to restore colonies that had been threatened by the Varkari, training combined human Solari units, and guiding the Council in new strategies that combined the best of both civilizations. Slowly, fear of humans faded among the Solari nobles, replaced by respect. One afternoon, Aric received a holographic message from Valeria. Princess Ilara's face appeared, her expression a mixture of relief and awe. "Captain Draven," she said softly, "we thought we had lost you. We never imagined that you were alive." Aric allowed himself a small smile. "I survived, Your Highness," he replied. "But it was not just me. I survived because of the courage I saw in others, both human and Solari. And now, I am learning to protect not just one world, but many. Alara's eyes shone with tears. I cannot thank you enough. You risked everything for me. You have always been extraordinary. Auric's voice was steady yet warm. You inspired me too, Princess. I fought because I believed in protecting you. And in doing so, I discovered something greater. Humans are stronger than we realize, and so are our bonds. As the message ended, Auric turned to Zalithra. I've been thinking, he said. Perhaps my place is not just here or back on Valeria. Perhaps I can help unite our peoples. We can learn from each other and ensure that conflicts like the Varkari attacks are minimized in the future. Zalithra's eyes glowed faintly. That is a wise thought, human. Not all of my people would agree, but you have earned their respect. You have proven that courage and honor are not limited by species. If you wish, you may act as an ambassador. Between my people and yours, Auric nodded. I will do it, he said firmly. I will ensure that humanity and the Solari can work together. We can show the galaxy what cooperation can achieve. Weeks passed as Auric worked tirelessly to build bridges. Trade routes were established, joint defense programs initiated, and cultural exchanges began. Solari scholars marveled at human creativity, while human engineers were amazed by Solari technology. Tensions eased and a sense of unity began to grow. Despite the progress, Auric never forgot the battles, the sacrifices, and the lives lost. He often walked the corridors of the palace alone, reflecting on the journey that had brought him here. From the moment he had sacrificed himself to save Princess Ilara, to the trials in Zalithra's court, to leading forces against the Varkari, every challenge had shaped him. Every victory, every lesson, every loss had strengthened the human spirit within him. One evening, as the twin moons of a nearby planet rose in the distance, Zalithra approached him again. You have changed much since your arrival, she said, not only in skill but in heart. You have taught my people something essential, that courage and morality are more powerful than any weapon. Auric smiled faintly. I've learned as much from them as they have from me. Strength is nothing without purpose, and power is nothing without responsibility. Humans survive, but we also inspire. We do not fight for glory. We fight to protect and to build a better future. Zalithra regarded him silently, then nodded. Perhaps one day the galaxy will recognize humans as more than survivors. They will see them as leaders, innovators, and peacemakers. And you will be remembered as the human who bridged worlds. Auric's thoughts drifted again to Princess Ilara. He missed her, the human world, and the life he had once known. But he understood that his role had changed. He was no longer just a soldier or protector. He was a symbol of unity, courage, and honor. He carried humanity with him, even among the stars, and he would continue to prove what humans were capable of. The culmination of his journey came during a grand assembly. Leaders from human colonies, Solari nobility, and even former enemies gathered to witness the formal alliance between humans and Solari. Auric stood beside Zalithra, a bridge between worlds, embodying the courage and ingenuity of his species. As the assembly proceeded, he spoke to the gathered leaders. Today we take a step forward together, he said. Humans and Solari alike have faced challenges that tested our courage, our loyalty, and our hearts. We have survived, but more importantly, we have learned to work together. Let this alliance be a symbol that when different worlds unite, the galaxy becomes safer, stronger, and more just. The assembly erupted in agreement and applause. Humans and Solari alike cheered, recognizing the bravery and wisdom of the man who had risked everything to protect others, who had adapted to a world far beyond his own, and who had shown that courage and integrity were universal. After the assembly, Auric stood with Zalithra, gazing out at the stars once more. It feels right, he said. Not just surviving, but helping to create something lasting. A legacy that humans and Solari alike can carry forward. Zalithra nodded. You have fulfilled more than I anticipated, human. You have honored your people, strengthened mine, and inspired the galaxy. You are a true example of courage, loyalty, and ingenuity. Auric smiled, a rare warmth in his expression. I didn't do it alone, he said. Humans, Solari. We all contributed, but it does feel good to know that what we do matters. That even one person, acting with courage and integrity, can change the course of many lives. As he spoke, the stars beyond the palace shimmered with quiet promise. He thought of Princess Ilara once more, imagining her safe and proud. Though he was far from home, he felt connected to humanity, carrying their courage and heart wherever he went. In the months and years that followed, Arik became more than a warrior. He became a symbol. Humans and Solari worked together, learning from one another, sharing knowledge, and building a future that honored both civilizations. Arik's story, the human who died to protect a princess and rose again in an alien world, was told throughout colonies and fleets. It became a story of courage, honor, and the power of the human spirit. And through it all, Arik Draven remained humble. He knew that survival alone was not enough. True greatness came from protecting others, fighting for what is right, and inspiring those around you to reach higher than they thought possible. One quiet evening, he stood on the balcony of Zelithra's palace, the twin moons casting silver light across the vast expanse of space. He allowed himself a deep breath, feeling the weight of everything he had accomplished and the promise of all that was yet to come. He was human. He had fought, he had sacrificed, and he had survived. And now he had done something far greater. He had shown that humans could flourish, inspire and unite worlds, even among the stars. The courage of one human could echo across the galaxy, leaving a legacy that would never be forgotten. Arik Draven, the protector, the warrior, the human, stood tall. His journey had begun with sacrifice, continued through trials and battles, and culminated in a future where humans and aliens alike could hope, trust, and thrive together. And so, the galaxy learned a simple but powerful truth. Humans do not merely survive, they rise, they inspire, and they endure.